What we talking about today? We're talking about changing your life in 30 to 60 days. Quick like. We ain't trying to take time. You ain't got time. You don't have time, man. So look, let's get into it, man. So first thing is you want to change your life quickly, man. You need to have a target. Okay. You cannot hit a target. And if you haven't seen my video on detoxing the mind, I believe that's the first thing you need to do, right? Because your mind needs to be clear. You got to be able to think clearly. You have to use your mind to elevate yourself. Your mind is what's going to get you to where you want to go. It's not going to be somebody you meet. It's not going to be a new business or opportunity that you get. It could be these things, right? But what's going to get you those things? What's going to attract those things to you? It's going to be what you're doing here, right? So first thing you need to have is a target, okay? I know a lot of people think about what business should I get in? What things should I be doing? Um, you know, what person should I be meeting? Where should I be doing, right? And all these things are important. But the main thing that you need to do is have a target. You must know what you want. If we're talking about metaphysics, right? We're talking about quantum leaping. We're talking about changing the physical with our mental. The very first thing you need to do is have a target. You must know where you're going. You must know what you're asking for. You must know what you're praying for. When you want to go somewhere and you go on Google Maps or whatever map app you use, hopefully it's Google Maps because Apple Map is trash. If you don't have an address, it's not going to take you anywhere. If you don't have a destination, how are you going to reach the destination? So you have to have an aim. What is it that you want? If you haven't thought about this, or you don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going, or you're kind of up in the air as far as like what you want to do, what your purpose is. I think the purpose is for another video, right? But whatever you want your goal to be right now, say you want to stop doing a certain habit, right? You want to get a significant other, right? You want to increase your income. You want to start a business. You want to get a certain material item. You want to take a trip. Whatever it is, you got to have a target. You got to have a goal, right? So the main thing you want to do is have a goal that moves you. And a lot of people think about a goal and they think about something that is, I guess a goal doesn't sound attractive, but it's just an aim. Like you have to wake up in the morning and be moving towards something. You're a spiritual being. Spirit is forever for fuller expression and expansion. You have in you the same thing as there is in a acorn seed, right? In a oak tree seed. The oak tree seed by default wants to grow and expand. By default, your spirit inside you wants to grow and expand, right? But you have to have an aim to grow and expand too. Otherwise, you'll grow and expand to somebody else's aim if you don't control it and have the aim for yourself. So what is it that you want to do? You must figure that out, right? You must figure out what it is that you want to do. But you just don't want to just pick any goal. You know what I mean? You don't want to just pick something that's not going to inspire you, that's not going to get you to think differently than what you've been thinking. You want to get something that's going to move you. You want to get something that's going to excite you. You want to have something that is something you haven't done before. You want to have a goal that you haven't accomplished before, because that is going to fill your mind with thoughts. It's going to fill your mind with the unknown, and there is a lot of growth in that unknown, right? You want to think bigger than what you've been thinking. You want something that scares you, something you don't know how to do. I learned this from Bob Proctor, okay? I'm a mentor. I have a mentor by the name of Mr. Law of Attraction. Amazing guy. You should look him up. His mentor was Bob Proctor. He worked directly, closely with Bob Proctor as I've worked with him. Bob Proctor teaches there's 3 types of goals: A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals. A-type goal is something that you already know what to do. You know you can accomplish it. So if you have let's just say you have a truck right now, right? And you make a goal to get another Chevy. You have a Chevy truck, you make a goal to get another Chevy truck. That is something that you know how to do. It's not really a goal. You know what I mean? That's not really going to move you. It's something that, you know, you could do or you could not do. You could fall off pretty easily because there's no inspiration there. Okay. You look around you, you know you can accomplish this because you have everything around you that's needed to accomplish this. You have all the skill set, right? That would be your A-type goal. Your B-type goal, would be something that you think you can do, right? You look around, you see what resources you have available to you, you see your network, you look at your skill set and you're like, it's a little outside of what I've done before, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it, right? That's a B-type goal. It's something you think you could do and you believe you could pull it off. Those types of goals, A and B, they don't move you. There's not enough inspiration there. It's not going to get you out of the bed in the morning ready to attack life, ready to go, full steam ahead, right? Then there's a C-type goal. Your C-type goal is what you want. Your C-type goal is a fantasy. It's a dream. It is something that you don't even think is possible. It's something that you don't think that you can accomplish. Say if the most money you've ever made is $10,000 in a month. What if you set a goal to make $150,000 a month? It's crazy, right? Like if you haven't ever thought that, the first thing in your mind, you're like, that ain't possible, right? Before I was introduced and started taking mentorships with these high-level entrepreneurs, making $200,000 a month seemed like a fantasy. It didn't seem like something that was actually achievable, right? Until I met people who were actually doing that. Until I met people who was making $400,000 a month. Matter of fact, $400,000 a month is an average month to them. $300,000 is a bad month for them. There are people out there who make that type of money. But if you haven't expanded your mind to think that, if you haven't been exposed to that, you might not think it is possible, right? So that would be a fantasy to you. That would be a dream. That's the type of goal that you need. Maybe you want to get married. You want a significant other who treats you this magnificent way that you've never been treated before, right? Maybe you want to own a business, something that you've never done or thought about ever doing before. You work a 9-to-5 job, whatever it is, right? It is a dream. It is a fantasy. It is something that you don't even know, can't even really fathom how to accomplish. That's the type of goal that you need. That's what's going to move you. That's what's going to get you out of bed. That's what's going to inspire you. You don't know how you're going to accomplish it, but the fun is finding out how you're going to accomplish it. That's where the fun is. The fun is diving into the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing how you're going to do it. But that's the goal that's going to move you. You need to have a target of that statue if you want to change your life incrementally in a large amount very quickly. That's the type of goal you need. Okay. So take some time, get out a pen, paper, take some time and let your imagination run. Use that magnificent human imagination and think about if money was no object, right? If you had all the resources, right? Don't let your mind limit you as far as the things that you actually want in life. Like dream and make a list of all the things that you want to do or become. Once you do that, spend time, 30 minutes, an hour. You know what I mean? Take the time to actually sit down and do this and write down all the things that you want. Once you do that, pick out one of the most important things. One of the things that you want more badly, I don't want to say badly, you want more than anything. Let that be your goal. Let that be your C-type goal. With that C-type goal, you want to write it down on a piece of paper. There's this thing called a goal card, right? There's a goal card right here. I carry this card around everywhere I go, okay? It is my goal of what I want to accomplish in the next 60 to 90 days. Write it down on a piece of paper and carry it around with you wherever you go, right? Fill your mind with this goal, right? Close your eyes and imagine yourself how it would feel if you had this goal, right? And when you close your eyes, your mind's probably going to come in there and say, you can't do this because you ain't got this. How are you going to do that? You don't know how to do that. Leave all that alone for the time being. Do not let your mind come in and try to tell you why or how you can't do something. What that is limited beliefs that have been implanted into your mind at some point in time in life, whether by somebody or something or media or society has told you that this is not possible for you, but it's lies. It is a lie. I will tell you 100% it is a lie. So don't let your mind come in and try to take that from you. Think how it would feel to accomplish that. And I'll get into another video as far as visualization. But what you want to do is close your eyes and enact all 5 of your senses. How would it look if you were first person? How would it feel? How would it feel? Would you feel happy? Would you feel joyous? Would you feel excited? Would you feel nervous because of the responsibility or whatever it is, right? What would it smell like? You know, what would it taste like? You want to enact all those 5 senses because at the end of the day, it's the feeling that matters. Neville Goddard, which is pretty much like the grandfather of self-help, manifestation, the law of attraction. He has a book called The Feeling is the Secret. I mean, that the title itself tells all. Once you understand and you start learning this material, the feeling is the secret. So what is it going to feel like is the main thing that you need to get inside of you. But by you taking time, figuring out what it is that you want and having that image in your mind, that image in your mind is going to start creating feelings inside of you. So this is why you want to carry that thing around you all the time. Because the minute you start feeling something other than good about what it is that you want to manifest, what you want to bring into your life, you need to look at that. You need to look at that thing, I don't know, 10, 15 times a day, right? And get that feeling. Close your eyes and get that feeling. Because it's the feeling that's going to draw it towards you. It's the feeling that's going to start affecting the actions that you take. It's the feeling that's going to determine what you do and how you move through life and how you interact with the world. It's the feeling. The feeling is everything. You can have the thoughts up here, right? But it's the mental imagery tied in with the emotion, with the feeling. That is going to control the actions. The actions that you do, you're going to get a certain reaction from the world. So this is why I say the goal is the first point, because the goal, once you write it down, you're going to get an image of what that is. And the more and more that you see this goal and you read this goal, your image is going to get clearer and clearer. Once you start getting a clear image of what it is that you want to create, once you start getting a clear image of what it is you want to create, then you'll start garnering the feeling. It's not just thinking about it. It's garnering the feeling. It's closing your eyes and living it. As you do this, the more and more you do this, and depending on the situation that you're in, depending on how fast you want to change, do this numerous times a day. I'm talking 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. Because at the end of the day, you have to get the limiting beliefs out of your mind. The limiting beliefs that say you can't make $100,000 a month, or you can't have that, or you're not good enough for that. You don't deserve that. Those are the limiting things that are keeping you from having whatever it is that you want right now. It is that you don't believe that you're worthy of it. You don't believe that you deserve it. Otherwise, you would have it. Those are the things that are keeping you from that. So having the goal, right? Writing that down, formulating the image in your mind, garnering the feelings of what it would feel like. Those are the things that are going to start pushing out those old beliefs, those old images of failure, those old images of you not having the thing, of you not being worthy enough, of you not being to accomplish these things, not being smart enough, not having everything that you need. Those are just old thoughts. Those are the limiting thoughts in your mind that's keeping you from manifesting or accomplishing whatever it is that you want to have, and that you can do it in a quick amount of time. Society has told you success is linear. It's not really true, but whatever you believe internally inside of you is true for you. So if you believe that, hey man, I really can't do this, like this is going to take forever. If I start this business, then I'm gonna have to do this and that. And it's going to take me this long to get all of this stuff down. And then, everybody says it's going to take this month. I Googled this and it says it takes this long. If you internalize and you move and you believe that, then your actions that you take you're going to take actions that are in correspondence with that belief, right? So you're not going to think greater than that. You're going to think it's going to take a while. And then that internal belief that you have is going to be pushed out in the actions that you take. So you're not going to take greater actions because you're not thinking greater. But what if you thought like, hey, this could happen in a very short amount of time? right? It can happen in a magnificent short amount of time. If you only knew, there are people who have taken information like this, have visualized themselves being much greater than they are. And through the bridge of incidents, something happens. They get a phone call. I heard of a story of a woman who started visualizing herself being wealthy, multi-millionaire, and within a month's time span, she meets some multi-millionaire guy, gets married, and becomes part of his business. Literally a multi-millionaire in a very short amount of time. Now, of course, that ain't gonna happen to everybody, right? I don't know about if you're a man watching this, more than likely some woman ain't gonna come up to you and be like, it's a multi-millionaire, and the next thing you know, you're gonna get married to her, right? But hey, that itself, me saying that in itself is a limiting belief because it can happen, right? I personally have had an experience. I don't know if this woman was a multi-millionaire, but she was ready to just take me in. She's like, don't worry about nothing. I got you. Right? I didn't take her up on that offer because I was married at the time. Right? But I'm just saying, man, like it all begins in our thoughts. It all begins in our mind. Right? And I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I didn't know this information at that time, but it begins here. It begins here. It begins thinking higher thoughts, moving at a higher frequency, which of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Once we start changing the thoughts, we start changing the feelings, we start changing our actions. Who knows? That one simple thing that you can put out. Say you want to create a business. Well, all of a sudden, you take this information that I'm telling you, and I'm like, well, okay, you start a business. You start a business tomorrow, right? Society tells you start a business, more than likely you're not going to really, depending on what type of business that you start, it's going to take you time to get all this stuff down. You got to get all the logistics fixed. You got to get insurance, right? You got to get an accountant, CPA. You got to get you got to get a marketing team, sales team. Like it's if you listen to the what do you call it? By the book way. And what the way that society tells you of how things come to pass, you will internalize that it takes forever and it takes long time, or it's a linear thing. You do this amount of work, you get this amount of results. You do this amount of work, you get this amount of results, and it takes you forever. But those are just beliefs in your mind. They are not true. And you must believe that. You must believe that. So I'm going to take this back, man. You have to have a target. You have to have a goal. Let your mind think, and think of something greater than what it is. Think of something that is just a fantasy to you right now. You want to make $150,000 a month? Look, it's possible. Even if you don't believe it's possible, put that on your list. Right? Because once you put that on your list, right? Now you get this in your mind, right? Now your mind, being the goal-seeking organism that it is going to start noticing things, noticing ways to do that, researching. You're going to get a hunch to start researching. Well, how can I make $150,000 a month? Now you're going to start seeing people pop up on your Facebook feed that are making that type of money a month, right? We have something inside of us called a reticular activating system, right? It's the same thing like when you buy a car. Say you buy a red Mercedes, right? You have not seen a red Mercedes in your daily life. You may see one every once in a while, but now that you got the car of the red Mercedes, now your brain is looking for a red Mercedes all the time. So now you start seeing a red Mercedes everywhere, right? It's your reticular activating system, your RAS. Once we start focusing our attention on something, Now we start seeing things that correlate with that. So when you have an aim, when you have a goal, when you start focusing in your mind on that goal, you're going to start seeing things that correlate with that. You're going to start seeing ways that you can make that happen. You're going to start seeing ways that these things can come to pass. How you can, your brain is going to, it's all about exposure. Like I heard Steve Harvey say something one time about riding first class. He's like, if you can spend the extra couple $100 when you take the next flight to get a first class ticket. Because once you get a first class ticket and you get in that first class, you're going to expose yourself to first class, and it's all about exposure. So now that you've exposed yourself, your brain is going to be trying, it's going to subconsciously make you do actions that is going to get you somehow back into first class. You're gonna see coach and it's gonna make your stomach turn. I don't want to ride in the regular coach class anymore, right? Your brain's gonna be like, man, I want to ride that first class. And you're gonna start taking certain actions that's gonna get you back to that first class. It's no different. Once you start exposing your mind to things that are possible, you start flooding your mind with things that are in correlation to the things that you want to accomplish, you want to create. You're going to start seeing more people do that. And if you have a money goal, let me tell you, man, there are people in the world that are making astronomical amounts of money a month, money that you can't even really fathom. But there are people doing it, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in a month's time. They're doing it, and it's possible. Anything is possible in this world. Shit, I think it might even be possible to fly. How much do you believe it? Yeah, you jump off the Empire State Building, you're going to be flying. I'm just saying, man. That might be an extreme example, but look, there's so many things that are possible in the world that people think are not possible, or people can't fathom, because most people have a limited amount of thinking. Most people think small. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, I think, The Magic of Thinking Big. No, I don't think that's The Magic of Thinking Big. There's a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. Okay. As a Man Thinketh. The Power of Power of Big Thinking. I should have these things written down since I'm on the video, but I don't, man. But these are books. I know The Magic of Thinking Big is definitely a book. Thinking bigger and greater than what you are is the key. And then having that as a goal that you want to accomplish. Might be something that nobody's ever done before. Might be something that you definitely haven't done before. But you need to have something that's going to grow and expand you spiritually and physically. It's all about the growth. And if you don't pick a goal that's going to push you, that's going to cause you to be somebody greater than you currently are, there's a good chance that it's not going to be sustainable. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to fall off, you know? Find out what it is that you want to do. That's the next step. And I went briefly over visualizing, but visualizing is going to be an important part. And the next video that I make is going to be over visualizing. So now once you figure out what it is that you want to aim for, your target, you got to visualize that thing, man. You got to bring it to you. You got to attract it to you. And you're going to do that by quieting the mind and living in that reality inside of your mind, inside of your consciousness. Because the reality that we see is not the real world. The real world is in here, right? Everything that we see out here is just a reflection from what is inside. And I'm gonna go into that in that next video. But look, this your boy Rob, man. Comment if you got some value out of this video. I appreciate everybody who's watching. And if I can just, if one person gets something out of it, I've done my job, man. It's your boy Rob Millionaire, man. I'ma holla at y'all on the next one.